Hi, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Space Opera Xanadax, Across the Unknown Dimensions of the Galaxy, coming this month from Image Comics. I'm also the author of Godzilla's Monsterpiece Theater, in stores now in this handsome trade paperback edition. And I'm also the author of Fantastic Four Grand Design. We're going to be talking about the Fantastic Four, the new Fantastic Four movie.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
I did my non-spoiler review. I posted it on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. I did my no spoiler review, but this video is going to be the spoiler review. I've enjoyed all the Fantastic Four movies to varying degrees, but the Rise of Silver Surfer, I thought they got a lot right.
Lucky for me, I just watched the Roger Corman Fantastic Four, which I'm absolutely fucking obsessed with.
How good is it? What a gem. What a lost gem.
My Marvel flicks, I would go... in Marvel, anything like Marvel.
Right. Some people, when you say Marvel, they're like, oh, well, X-Men, that's not Marvel. Like, no. To me, Marvel is like, you know, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yes.
Anything that's got a... like, I don't give a fuck about this Marvel Cinematic Universe, this or that. I read Marvel comics... and if you got a movie that's got one of those guys in it, then it's a Marvel movie.
This is Marvel, in no particular order. The Incredible Hulk series plus TV movies.
Yeah.
The Fantastic Four Roger Corman movie.
Wow.
It's in my top 5. The Raimi Spider-Man trilogy is in there. The Iron Man trilogy. Mm-hmm. And then... probably coming in at 5 is the Joe Johnston Captain America movie.
Okay. Yeah, you know, like, and you're like hot off of just having watched the Corman Fantastic Four, because you watched it as sort of like homework for this. So you're like high on it. You've had your close encounter with, because I mean, I've seen it a bunch of times and I love it too, but it's kind of been a while, but I do love it, and I'm glad that, and I had a feeling you'd like it, because you're such a fan of the Incredible Hulk and those Incredible Hulk movies, Daredevil, Thor.
Same feel as those.
Yes, I feel like if you like those, you will love the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. Because the Roger Corman Fantastic Four is like that and more.
Yes.
You know?
The budgets of like the Hulk show and the Hulk movies and the budget of the Fantastic Four movie, the Corman one, lend itself to the material.
Yes.
Like, the budgets are, like,
they're
absolutely
scrappy. They're scrappy.
For them.
They're underdogs.
Yes.
It's an underdog story, and you're kind of watching that, kind of knowing it. And I gotta say, so, like, you know...
it makes it even more comic-y.
Yeah. Again, and closer to, like, Marvel Comics, too, because in the beginning, Marvel Comics were these sort of, like, low-budget, low end of the market kind of comics. They were kind of like the bargain bin comics, and that's where the action was. That's where the best stuff was happening, in this like weird neglected corner of the publishing world. And then Marvel was like this like had this bad reputation, and then they were making these masterpieces. You're right, it does fit. I watched the Fantastic Four, and then as soon as I got home, I like put on like all the Fantastic Fours I could possibly find. And so I've been watching all of them back to back. And in all of the Fantastic Four movies, in First Steps, in the 2005 one, and the Silver Surfer one, whenever Mr. Fantastic stretches, it's just like, it just doesn't do anything for, it's like not, I don't know, for whatever reason, it's like, it's not convincing enough, and it's not fun enough. But in the Corman movie, every time Mr. Fantastic stretches, I am delighted.
It's the best.
Guffaw. Like, I love it.
You're so right. In these movies, I'm like praying he doesn't stretch.
Yeah.
Like,
right. It does nothing.
God, I hope Mr. Fantastic doesn't stretch out.
Because it is, you're like, how are they going to do, and in the Corman one, there's like the final fight between Reed and Dr. Doom, which again, that's the only place you get like a final fist fight between. Even in the comics, awesome. It's very like when I was doing Fantastic Four Grand Design, I kept waiting for some big final confrontation between Reed and Dr. Doom, and it just like it never quite happens. So I kind of had to create one, but you get a great one in the Corman movie, and every time Reed like gives him like a little uppercut, it's so great. It's so fun.
Awesome. And then dude's got little like claws that come out.
Yeah.
And then when he falls off the, I love a good villain fall.
Well, yeah,
and his hand is like creeping.
Yeah, his hand turns into Thing from the Addams Family. Yeah, no, it's really great. And again, like thinking about the budget. Because it was like, I think, like Roger Corman got paid like $1 million or whatever to produce this. And I think somebody's walking around with $950,000 in their pocket.
And I'm not mad.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think $1 million got spent on it.
The casting is perfect.
Yeah.
Like pitch perfect for everyone.
Yeah, it's so rare that one of these movies, it's like they step out of the comic book. But the Corman one really, like the casting and the costumes and stuff, they stepped right out of the comic book. The one I thought they really nailed was Ben Grimm. Like when he's not the Thing, Ben Grimm looks exactly like the guy that Jack Kirby drew in the comic, except he's got a little more like of a little tail in his hair. But again, like just a complete facial match and physical match for the Ben Grimm Kirby drew. And then when the Thing is great, it's like this animatronic rubber Thing costume with facial art. It kind of reminds me of the Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
And I do feel like, like that Corman movie could have been a hit because, like the Ninja Turtles was a hit and it's not that far off. Like it just needed maybe a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I mean, and I have a tremendously high opinion of that first Ninja Turtles movie, but it's not so far off of that. Like no, there is a world where that first Fantastic Four movie is this like sort of surprise hit, this like sleeper,
And the director did a great job.
When you're making a movie with no money, you have to make these choices somebody with a budget would never make, but makes a better product. Like when you have a budget, you want to show your budget. You want to put those dollars on the screen. And so you have a lot of these big shots and see every little bit of it, say, clarity, all this stuff. But in the Corman movie, it's like it's all close-ups.
Yes.
It's all like in dark.
But that helps it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like film noir or something. It helps it. And then the fact that it's like a multiple generation, like nobody's ever seen a print of the movie. It's like VHS copies of VHS copies or a DVD of like 3 generations of VHS copies. Like, so the image has sort of further degraded and darkened, which again kind of adds a little mystique to it. Yes. Also, like I would love to see this like crystal clear version of it that must exist somewhere. But if I never do, this sort of murky version that we see, it has a magic to it.
The director, his name's like Ollie Sassone. He directed some Xena and some Hercules. Alex Hyde White. You've got Rebecca Staub, Jay Underwood, and Michael Bailey Smith.
Yeah, Alex Hyde White is Reed, and he's great. Like he is really phenomenal. Like his whole attitude and his voice and his like he really does nail like the Reed. Again, it's like they all stepped out of the comic. Every single one of them. Everybody
worked continuously up until like present day.
Oh, really? Much. Okay. Yeah, and so watching Fantastic Four, like the first steps, Reed Richards is in it. Like that, Alex Hyde White is in it. He's just in it for like a moment, but he plays like a TV,
that's
like
so
like
great.
like a Anchorman or something, just for like a minute. But it's like there he is, and then from what I heard, like I didn't spot them myself, but I heard like the whole, like all 4 of them have like various roles as like journalists and stuff in the new movie.
I was looking at Alex Hyde White's filmography. He's in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade as, I think he plays the Sean, like when River Phoenix is talking to.
Oh, is he the one?
I think he's the guy in the chair.
He's doing the pantomime.
I think he's the pantomime guy. Isn't that awesome?
Because it's Connery's voice over top. That is awesome. And because again he carries himself. He does have kind of like the collegiate professor kind of demeanor. He carries himself like that. That is. Yeah, he really did nail it.
And Sue Storm was on Seinfeld and stuff, so they all acted in like. And Ben Grimm is a stuntman.
Right. Well, there were two Ben Grimms. There was like the guy in the costume that like there was the guy in the Thing costume who again a lot of this stuff we learned from the documentary Doomed, the documentary about the making of the Fantastic Four. Yeah, it's really good. But the guy who is in the Ben Grimm suit, not the guy who plays like the non-powered Ben Grimm. He was the guy who gets his head put in a vice by Joe Pesci in Casino. Tony Dogs. Come on, Dogs. You're going to tell me who was it, Dogs? Come on, Dogs. You're going to talk. You're going to talk, Dogs. Who was it? And I forget what the name was. There was like a name, like he's, give me a name, and then the name he gives him, he's like, you're going to get yourself killed for that piece of shit?
Joe Pesci's vice breaks because he's got the Thing's head in a vice.
They should have put that scene in the Fantastic Four, like the Thing gets his head in a vice. So the new Fantastic Four movie kicks off with a bang. Like they got this whole, and again, the director Matt Shakman, he's coming from WandaVision. So like one of his strengths is like media. Like the media within the world of this Fantastic Four movie is great. You got like these news shows. It's all in sort of like a retro 60s kind of visual world, and the media is great. And then there's like a Fantastic Four cartoon within the world that is like, it's got elements of the Alex Toth cartoon, but it's also got its own original thing. Like, so he nails that aspect of it. And so it starts off with this sort of like ABC TV special. Again, ABC owned by Disney, who owns Marvel, this ABC TV special about the Fantastic Four, who they are, how they got there. And you can watch that part in its entirety on Disney Plus.
Oh, that's cool.
Because when I went home, I wanted to watch a bunch of Fantastic Four stuff, and a lot of it's on Disney Plus. And then they had like a thing called like, First Steps, like a little featurette. And it was mainly, like it seemed like it was pretty much that chunk in its entirety, and then a couple other things, like the appearance of the Silver Surfer and stuff. So anybody who hasn't seen the movie or whatever, like, go check that out. You get a nice chunk of what kind of kicks the movie off.
Very cool. Like, the 3D aspect, we saw it in 3D.
Yeah.
The Superman 3D was like probably the best 3D I've seen forever. The 3D element was not too shabby, but wasn't as good as Superman's.
The 3D in this Fantastic Four made me enjoy the movie more. It did. Like, it was kind of like seeing, there's like a scene with like some Jello molds.
Oh,
and one of the Jello molds is like the Baxter Building, and that was kind of fun to see in 3D. Like, the 3D did help, but you're right. Like, the second that Superman started, where you get this like panoramic shot of the Arctic, and you're like just eye level with the ground, and you're just like, was incredible. Where this, it didn't, like, I was not as enraptured as I was with Superman by that point. I was sold. Like, I did enjoy it more the second time around. The universe is against the Fantastic Four. Like, as we've seen through history, all of these ill-fated Fantastic Four, it's like, it's this revolutionary comic book that changes the industry. It was a huge hit in its time and stuff, but every fucking time from the Corman one onward, it's like, it's cursed.
The universe is against the Fantastic Four, even at an individual theatrical level.
I thought it was a very good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I can't say like, fuck all those other Fantastic Four movies. This is the one. Like, it's still, like, it might be better than those, but it might not. I don't think it's better than them in the aggregate. Like, if I look at all those other Fantastic Four movies, it's like this one, like, again, and I thought this one was going to knock all of those like where just delete all those other ones. This is so amazing, because it just, you know what I mean? Like, it was like this close to, it didn't, and it should have made you forget.
Like
steamrolled all of them, and it just didn't quite. We recently posted the video of us in England at Waterstones putting together the Fantastic Four Galactus Lego set. And it was funny watching that video because it was before Fantastic Four came out. And so we're talking about like, oh, what do you think you're going to see in the Fantastic Four? And I'm naming all this stuff I think I'm going to see. And like, none of it was in it. Like, I was like, oh, well, we're probably going to see we're probably going to see the Watcher, because the Watcher is a big part of the Silver Surfers, a big part of Galactus' story. No Watcher. Like I thought it was going to be more chock full, and I thought we were going to get a healthy dose of Doctor Doom, and we didn't get a healthy dose of Doctor Doom. Yeah, he's like the little stinger at the end. You see him for 1 second at the end, and it is kind of like, ooh. But it's like, don't like. And again, before we saw Superman and we were talking, I was saying like, okay, James Gunn, don't hold back. Don't be like, oh, I'm going to save this cool bit for the next movie or for part 3. Like, you better put all your cards on the table. Like, this thing better be front loaded or else. Don't hold back. And he didn't. I felt like he put out, like, it was just like one amazing thing after another. Fantastic Four, Marvel, they're holding back. They held back They're like, oh, you're going to have to come back next time if you really want to. Like, we're going to, again, tickle your ass with a feather with Doctor. You're going to see him for half a second from behind.
You're right, Tom. With Fantastic Four as a movie fighting for its life each go round, why didn't they fucking get Doom in there?
You got to come loaded for bear. These Fantastic Four movies, yeah, you're right. Like this whole history they've had, it's never like. And again, people make fun of these ones from the early 2000s. They did well. Like they
I saw this in the theater.
Yeah, they did well, and they weren't too shabby. Like. The comics fans didn't love them. There were things the comics fans wanted to see and didn't and whatnot. But I thought they were good. But yeah, it's like, you come loaded for bear. Give us some Doctor Doom. Why did you take the Red Ghost and his super apes out? Like we were and again, it's not like I'm like we were told that the Red Ghost and his super apes were going to be in it. There was no Red Ghost. There was a super ape. We saw we didn't see super apes. We saw a super ape. So it's like, and then Puppet Master lives over there. The Mad Thinker's over there. Show us that. Like, show us them for 1 second. Again, they're like holding it. It's like, sorry, like
they're you got for the movie that's never going to
happen. Yeah, there's not going to be. I mean,
go for broke.
Yeah, go for broke. Don't hold back. And they were withholding. They were holding back because, like I was saying, that little chunk at the beginning where they get you caught up with the Fantastic Four, and they have a little bit of the origin, and they do the origin in a very tasteful way, kind of like the second Hulk movie. The Hulk movie after the Ang Lee one. Again, I love the Ang Lee Hulk. The one after it, they do this like quickie origin story that is so effective and so awesome, and they kind of do something like that in this. I thought they handled the origin really tastefully well. So I understand why, like, maybe it's like, what they had planned with the Red Ghost and the Super Apes maybe slowed that down. Like, I trust the filmmakers of this movie. I think what they made was a good Fantastic Four movie. It worked. There was a lot to recommend from it. So I imagine they had a version that had the Red Ghost, and they were like, you know what? You take this Red Ghost out, and the movie just works better. Like I trust their decision. But again, it's like, as like a comics fan and a fan of these things, it's like, maybe make a movie that's not quite as perfect, and let us see some Red Ghost. Like make a movie that's maybe a little bit sloppy, but we get to see the things we want to see.
We saw that super ape in the movie.
Yeah.
I was like, I got excited for a second, and I was I was like, I'm never seeing the super ape again.
Well, that was my experience of the whole, because I liked it. I enjoyed it. Every step of the way. There were a couple moments that kind of lagged, but I did enjoy it. But when it gets to the final battle and they're fighting Galactus, I'm kind of like, wait a second, this is it. The movie's almost over. And it felt like it was just getting started. Like I wanted so much more of that kind of stuff. I wanted more. And the Thing never gets to beat anybody up in the whole thing. And again, there's a running joke of like, everybody wants him to say, oh, it's clobbering time and stuff. And that's clever. It's like, that's his catchphrase. And like, everybody wants him to say it. And he's like, oh, that's just on the cartoon. I don't really say that. And so, and so eventually, like, you want him to say, like, I think that's clever. That's a good idea. But the Thing is like, you could get rid of the rest of the Fantastic Four as far as I'm concerned. Like, the Thing's the guy you come to see, and you want to see him beat something up. And you don't get that. You do get this really cool scene where he's like running at full speed, bashing these like columns that support a building, and then the building falls on Galactus. Like, that's cool. But again, that was in the trailer. Like that was, so, but we don't see a scene where he's like, and there's even a line in the movie where he says, because where Reed has figured out this way of keeping everybody under control without them having to like go into action and fight. And the thing is like, I like punching. I miss punching, and it's like, yeah, me too. Yeah. Like I want to see you punch stuff.
Hey, like Stallone. He's always like, keep punching.
And when Galactus shows up, first of all, we were sold a bill of goods. Watching that video where we're putting together the Legos, yes. We're putting together the Lego, and Galactus is purple and blue, and we're talking, making this thing, and we're like, oh, this is a good sign. Like if he's like this in the movie, that's going to be a movie. He's not purple and blue. He's like zombie Galactus, which again is like that's a way to go. But there was the big purple Galactus popcorn bucket that there was on the popcorn head. Now when I went to the movie for the first time, I wanted that giant Galactus popcorn. I was going to pay $80 for it. I was going to get it. And I asked them about it, and at the theater they were like, "Oh yeah, we didn't get one of those. We like our theater didn't get one." They're like, the other theater down the road got like 6 of them, and we didn't get it. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm not. So I didn't get it. Now after I saw the movie, I'm like, fuck that popcorn bucket. I don't want that fucking because I thought I was gonna see this like big purple Galactus. Like so, instead you get a gray Galactus, and again the Galactus was very effective. And when he first shows up, and he's silhouetted. And it's like black on black. It's like he's like a tiny bit darker than the back, and it's like what? And you're like looking up at him, and you're like, whoa, this is awesome. He shows up, but then it kind of like goes downhill from there. And they do the thing. Now I warned you. I mentioned this when I reviewed the trailer. Yeah. And I said you committed a boo boo. You committed a no. You like if you're trying to build up Galactus as this like ultimate thing that you're like looking up at, and again when he shows up for the first time, it is that you're looking up at him, but then almost immediately they do a shot from the opposite angle where you're looking down at Galactus and looking down at the Fantastic Four, and it's like you just took all the tension out of the moment. You just made Galactus seem sort of small, and because we're seeing that there's somebody bigger than Galactus, and it's us. You know, we get the God's eye view. We're looking down at, and you're not like, again, it's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful shot. You're looking down, but no, we're supposed to be continually in awe of Galactus until the moment, he starts to weaken or get attacked. Then you can like change the angle. You can like stare down, but like we're supposed,
they're not booking Galactus correctly.
Yes, right, exactly. The blocking was bad. Yeah, and so that kind of took away some of the tension. But also, like, as it went on, Galactus was dumb. Like, in the comics, Galactus is kind of conflicted, and he's articulate, and he's like, yeah, I understand you're upset that I'm about to eat your planet, but I'm Galactus, and I got to eat this planet. Like I got to eat this. It's this planet or me, and sorry, I'm eating it. And like, there's a little, and a lot of the drama is them sort of trying to reason with Galactus, but they can't, and stuff like that. Where in this, they kind of treated Galactus as a kaiju. He was like just this big giant like idiot. Like he was like, which again, like zombie Galactus is an approach you could take. It just like it wasn't what I was looking for. It didn't really do it for me. He's just kind of and again, the kaiju in Superman was just handled in a much more fun manner, and this and also like again the feeling that I got where I was like, oh shit, is this it? Is this all we're getting? Was because it was like there was just that tiny bit of action in the beginning of like Reed Richards smacking one super ape, not super apes, but one super ape.
That's so disappointing.
There was that, but then there was like there was no like real fisticuffs throughout. And again, these movies, like, yeah, you made a classy movie, you made a Kubrick styled thing, but like George Lucas made his Kubrick style movie. He made THX 1138 very tasteful, very restrained, very stylized, very like wonderful, and it flopped. And then he made his movie that employed some of Kubrick's techniques, but was almost anti-Kubrick. It was like Kubrick, like with, in Fast Forward or whatever, and that was Star Wars, and it became a huge hit. And like that's what you needed to do on this. You needed to like do like an amped up Kubrick. You need to do Kubrick, but like give us the thrills and because again, these superhero movies, that's what we're looking for. You made a very tasteful, very nice movie, but it was do or die. This was do or die.
Strike three. Like I can't. The borrowed time. The Fantastic Four cinematic universe is like on borrowed time.
I mean, at least they're still underdogs. They've always been underdogs. But so like the thing was because like I just wanted to see the Thing beat up a couple more things. And,
of course.
And people make fun of the Thing grew a beard. And again, it's one of those things they made fun of online. And it's like, fuck you. But then when I'm watching the movie, Pedro Pascal refuses to not show up with facial hair. Like he said that in an interview. And like in the Fantastic Four, it was always like, Reed is like clean shaven. But then when like the shit's hitting the fan and he has to go in his lab, then he starts growing like facial hair and stuff. And then he comes. But since Reed starts out with facial hair, they can't do that in this. So the way they do it is they have the Thing grow facial hair. But again, like, I thought maybe if the facial, like, I like the idea that, like, the Thing, you know, it continues to mutate and that maybe there'd be weird growths. But it wasn't weird growths. It was like somebody just sculpted, like, a wooden beard on, like, it didn't, again, it could have been handled in a way that made it kind of cool or alien, but it just looked stupid. So then, when you finally do get the Thing showing up and doing, like, a minimal amount of action, he's got this dumb beard. You know, like I just want to see the Thing kick a bunch of ass. He kicked a little bit of ass in the Corman movie. He kicks a little bit of ass in the big one, and then he kicks a little bit of ass in the Silver Surfer movie.
Beard would be bothering me, Tom.
Yeah, but like this one, he just kicks a minuscule amount of ass. Just that one scene where he's like running, knocking down. Again, great idea. But like we need more than that of the Thing. So if you compare, again, you're comparing this movie to the aggregate of what came before. And the aggregate, like, there's way more cool Thing stuff over here and way less, you know.
In the Corman one, I cheered when the Thing said it's clobber time and like the camera like turned, like cranked, and he's like, it's clobber time.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have cheered during this one.
Yeah, like and here's the thing, like, you had the Silver Surfer, and her encounters with the Fantastic Four, there was kind of like, you know, it was a little more cerebral, and there was some MacGuffins. There was like this MacGuffin of this record, this gold record, and some things like that. But it wasn't, you know, there was like, you know, in the Silver Surfer, in the Tim Story one, they get to do this with the Silver Surfer a little bit. So, but it's like, okay, I get it. It's a little more cerebral. It's a little more this. But there's plenty of opportunities for the Thing to beat up. Like because Galactus in the comics, he doesn't just have the Silver Surfer. He has Terrax. He has Frankie Ray. He has Firelord. Firelord's this like, so he's got this little army. But then he's also got, like, in the older classic stories, he's got this creature called the Punisher, and he's kind of like this like tardigrade or something. He's like this like monster, this like unstoppable monster that like the Thing has to fight, and like he beats up the Thing, he beats up. So it's like, let's have some of that. Let's have like a couple little henchmen or whatever for this for Galactus, for you know, the Thing to mix it up with, Johnny Storm to mix it up with, you know. So again, these are my fanish reaction, because I come to this as a genuine fan. So that's where I give this thing minus points. Now again, I thought they got so much right. Again, the design of it was amazing. The design I would compare to the 1989 Batman movie, where they figured out a look for like a cinematic version of this comic book that completely fits the subject matter, completely fits the era, but then is also original. Like, it's not, they weren't just copying things from the comic. Like, there wasn't a Batman comic book that looked like the Tim Burton movie with like the Anton Furst drunk. Like, there wasn't but it was so perfect. It was perfect. Like it was as if it always existed, you know? And it gave it like the feel of the era in which Batman was created, but also like a feel, like a darkness and a film noir look, and a little like a dark futurism or whatever, that just was so spot on. And I feel like this did the same thing for the Fantastic Four. It was like this, it evoked the era in which the Fantastic Four was created, but it also evoked the sort of, hopeful, retro, science, glossy kind
It
of.
felt great.
Yeah, yeah. The design was like, it really worked as a design thing. And then they did come up with MacGuffins. They had that gold record. Just having records is kind of fun. And the Herbie the robot.
Loved that guy.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun. And there's a point where like Reed Richards presses eject and his face goes like, and he takes the tape out and he like all these little details. Again, the media stuff, like this is what Matt Shackman was bringing. This is like his bag of tricks from WandaVision. The interaction was great. Like, they have that scene where they're announcing their pregnancy, they're having dinner. And we saw like a little bit of that in the trailer, and in the trailer it just kind of fell flat. But like watching like the full version was very it was very moving, very funny. And then like the Thing, like the CGI of the Thing and the performance, that the actor was doing, it really was nice.
I was kind of getting even like choked up. The Thing, I'm kind of getting choked up right now thinking about like his like interaction with the kids and stuff, and
which again is a big part of the comic. Like, the Thing is just this very genuine personality. Like, so all that and again, that's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to like, they nailed like the heart of the Fantastic Four and their love for each other and the personality. So like that, definite like kudos for that. Like, they definitely did that. But who cares?
Yeah,
fuck that shit.
Wait, why do we
fucking shit? No, yeah, that scene was a really good scene. Very poignant, funny, and poignant, and hard. And Johnny, again, from the trailer, it looked like, they're doing the same stuff they always do with Johnny. There's my big idiot brother. There's my fucking idiot use. Like, it just looks like but
it's usually huffing the tailpipe on a school bus.
Yeah, exactly. But in the actual movie, like, he was smart. He was kind of the detective who pieces together some of the clues, and like, he was at the fore, and like, I thought was really good, because a thing like, everybody looks at Reed Richards as the genius, but part of the story is that Sue and Johnny are kind of like whiz kids. It's like they're on that mission for a reason. So I was pleasantly surprised that Johnny kind of held his own. I thought he was funny and engaging, and yeah, he wasn't just a dope.
Johnny Storm in the Roger Corman one, because the guy that plays him, there was a TV movie we recorded it when I was little, and I'm obsessed with, called Not Quite Human.
I don't know that one, dude, but that sounds like a Total Recall.
We gotta watch it. I was obsessed. It's like any kind of like a $6 Million Man Jr. cyborg guy. There was this movie, I forgot all about it until today. We recorded. I'm gonna try to find it, but I watched like a million times. It was off. I think it was a Disney, but the guy that plays Johnny Storm was the lead in Not Quite Human, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like,
and this is in the Corman version.
This is the Corman Johnny Storm.
I mean, I only know this from the documentary about the Corman one, but Johnny Storm was like the biggest star in the movie. Like, he was like a name. He was like the first one they greenlit, because he was in Uncle Buck, and so he was in a bunch of. So he was the one with like a pretty nice resume up to that point.
He was great in the Corman one.
Yeah, he was great in the Corman one, and I did like. Usually Johnny's like a weak point in the comics. He can be a weak point in the in the movies. He can be a weak point. I thought he was good in the Corman one. I thought he was good in this too. Like,
yeah,
and again, like, he became sort of the point man with the Silver Surfer. But the only thing is, it's like, this movie like leaned into a lot of MacGuffins, where I think that like overly simplified things a little. And I understand when you're making a movie, like, a MacGuffin is kind of like a nice handy tool, and people do kind of get excited about it. So like that gold record, it was kind of a interesting MacGuffin, but then that became the essence of the interaction with the Silver Surfer. And I mean, I got my own thoughts about just like how the Silver Surfer's been handled through the years, going back to the 60s. Like, but what that Galactus story hinged on in the comics was that the Silver Surfer is like serving Galactus, doing Galactus's bidding, but the Silver Surfer is sort of an innocent. The Silver Surfer doesn't know anything about life or humanity. The Silver Surfer is this like energy being that that Galactus created. That's Jack Kirby's conception, and that's sort of how he is in the first bunch of Fantastic Four stories that he shows up in. And then a few years later, without Jack Kirby, Stan Lee and John Buscema came up with an origin for the Silver Surfer that drives me nuts. And I wrote an article about it for the Comics Journal. You can check that out. Maybe we'll have a link to it about like how that origin drives me nuts and stuff. And so, they kind of lean into that origin here. But part of the story was Silver Surfer gets to know humanity. He gets to know humanity by way of Alicia Masters, who's like Ben's girlfriend in the comics. In the cartoon, like the 1960s cartoon, he learns about humanity by way of Sue, and in the Rise of Silver Surfer, it's the same thing. He learns about humanity by way of Sue. But like the Silver Surfer learns about humanity and what it is and what its value is. Like in the comic, the Silver Surfer doesn't even know what food is. The Silver Surfer like arrives on Earth and it's like, what is this place? Who are these? Like he just thinks of the universe as like planets as just being these, giant meatballs for Galactus to eat. But then he learns that like there's people with an internal life and all this stuff going on Earth, and then he decides to turn against Galactus. But in this, it was kind of like it's instead of having all that kind of stuff going on, it just revolves around this MacGuffin of this record that's like thanking Shalabal for saving their planet, and you find out, oh, it's a record for and then there's the MacGuffin. Like there's so many bits of business in the Silver Surfer, in the Galactus story in the comics, where it's like everybody's got something to do, and they send Johnny Storm off. They send him to Galactus's home, where he retrieves the ultimate nullifier, and they use that to like threaten Galactus, get Galactus to run away. Where in this, it was just a MacGuffin. It's like, okay, Galactus, for some reason, wants Franklin Richards, the baby, and so we're gonna set this mousetrap and then stick Franklin Richards' baby carrier, right? It's like, and then we're just waiting for this big giant dummy to stumble his way towards this trap. Where in the comics, it's like they're engaging with Galactus, they're talking to him, but then sometimes he's ignoring them because he's building this elaborate device that's going to convert Earth into. Again, I'm not looking for them to do a direct translation of the comic. Like they reinvented the origin, the Galactus story. They came up with some cool wrinkles. I like that they get in a spaceship, go across the universe to encounter him. That Franklin Richards is born on the spaceship, and Sue turns into. Like I like that they did all that stuff, but the end result was just so minimal. Like they just took away so many opportunities for drama and bits of business. And
you got me thinking now, like a big print of Galactus with we're talking guys busting kneecaps with a red and white checkered net, and he's got the planets on the spaghetti.
Yeah, he's got this plate of spaghetti with like these planets stacked
as meatballs.
Now, before I saw Fantastic Four, I was hearing word that like, oh, this Fantastic Four movie's not that great. I was getting like word that it was not that great. And that was like a good way to go into it. Because like I like going into a movie with low expectations, because if my expectations are too high and then you get disappointed. I had low expectations. I ended up enjoying it. But I also I thought there was going to be more to it. Like I said, I thought I was going to see some Red Ghost and his Super Apes. But they start off with Earth 828. Like they start off and they say Earth 828. Now, first of all, I talked about how I didn't like the little opening crawl in Superman, and this was it was just Earth 828, and I hated that because
I was like, what the hell is that?
To me, it's like when you start off that way, when you say Earth 828, you are immediately giving me permission to not care about any of this, because you're like, oh, not only are you watching a pretend thing called a movie, but even within this movie, the thing you're watching is like a variant, a secondary, a pretend made up. You know what I mean? Like, just start your fucking movie. Don't say Earth 828. Like, you already take me out of it when you say Earth. Yeah. Like, you gave me permission to not care. So, like, am I going to watch it and be like, wait, why is everything
There's no stakes.
Yeah, no stakes whatsoever. It's like, okay.
Get up. It's like, get up and leave the movie.
Yeah. Do you think, like, we're going to be so confused? Like, wait, why is this world so different? Like, because then you start making theory. You're like, if it didn't have that Earth 828, you'd watch it and you're like, oh, maybe this is what it was like in the 60s, for these Marvel, because we've only seen as far back, we've seen World War II and we've seen the 70s, or no, we've seen World War II and we've seen the 90s in these Marvel movies, but maybe in the 60s, this is what it was like, and maybe there was some catastrophe or whatever, or, oh, maybe this is an alternate universe. Like your wheels kind of turn as but if you just say, oh, it's an alternate universe, like to me, because now, by the end of the movie, there's a payoff where, like, me of all people should love that they say 828, because they, at the end of the movie, they reveal 828, August 28th. That's Jack Kirby's birthday. And so, like, beautiful tribute, beautiful, but still, it's like, you're not making this movie for me. Like, you're making the, you're not making this movie for the guy who wrote a book about Jack Kirby.
Yeah, you wrote the book on
it. You're making this movie for everybody else. So you're fucking everybody over with this Earth 828
Earth
thing.
828. Then it says permission to not give a shit granted.
Yeah. Like, you can do a big lavish tribute to Jack Kirby at the end of the movie without starting the movie off on the foot of, oh, this is Earth 8. This is Earth who gives a shit. This is Earth. Now, again, a way that could have worked, though, because when I went into this movie, the trailers, you see what looks like the planet Earth exploding in the trailer. You see, and so I went into it thinking, oh, they're in this alternate universe. In the course of this movie, Galactus is going to devour the planet Earth, and everybody is going to have to evacuate to some other dimension or other universe, get on these life ships, and then end up, in, like the New York of the Avengers, or, you know what I mean? Like, end up in, like, that's where I thought, before seeing it, I thought, like, that was a possibility of what this movie could be. And there were comics like that. There was like the old Secret Wars in the 80s, but then there was like a newer Secret Wars maybe 15 years ago, where the Fantastic Four have to evacuate their universe, and they have these life ships that take them to this other dimension. So I thought, oh, again, that didn't happen. Maybe that happens in the next. Yeah, maybe that happens. But again, if you go into a movie thinking there's going to be a red ghost, there's going to be the Earth is going to get destroyed, and they're going to evacuate to like the main Marvel universe, and you think, oh, maybe I'm going to see the Watcher, or you think maybe this tardigrade, the Punisher, little monster is going to come out and fight Ben. You go into a movie with this vague notion of seeing all this stuff, and then the movie you see has none of that. Has a lot of, like, good character moments, some inventive stuff. Like, the stuff the Invisible Woman was doing was kind of cool. Like, how she's showing Reed the baby by making, cool. Making herself invisible. And so, like, and the invisible birth scene. And so, like, all that stuff's, all well and good. But, like...
Tom, I need to track down some comics to feature the Red Ghost and his super apes.
He was one of the early villains. Again, he's kind of a weirdo villain. But
I love it.
It kind of, his presence implied that, oh, in this movie, we're going to get the full panorama of the Fantastic Four. And maybe we're just going to see a little moment here, a moment there.